Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be setting up a really beautiful May bullet journal theme, as well as dropping a few of my top tips and tricks. For this month's theme, it kind of matches my nails this month. It's a yellow and kind of pink salmon color, which I think is going to be really beautiful. So I'm starting with my go-to black fine liner, and tip number one is use dashed lines. Dashed lines are so forgiving and you don't even need a ruler to create these lines. They also look really aesthetic, I find. I used to always wonder why my journal didn't look quite as professional or aesthetic as other setups I would see online, and these dashed lines are such a hack. I'm drawing a large peony in the corner now, which I'm going to come back to later in the video, but then it was time for me to decide what black pen to use. As you can see, I debated a lot and I tested out a bunch of different black markers that I had. I didn't want one that was going to bleed through the paper, but I wanted a really strong black color, so I ended up using this paint marker. You have to shake it to release the paint into the tip, and I wanted to use black to color in the name of the month that I wrote here. I'm using this really fun kind of cutesy typewriter font. I'm not really sure what to call it, but it's one of my favorite fonts. I think it's so underrated and it's actually so easy to do. I was really happy with this black marker, and the color's super rich and it didn't bleed through the paper at all. Now I'm going in with a yellow marker, and the theme of my setup this month, if you haven't figured out already, is this yellow peony flower. I think that's what they're called. So I used this bright yellow to color in the entire flower, and then I used a darker yellow to go in and color in the petals around the edges to add some kind of dimension and shading. I'm going to show you guys in more detail on the cover spread at the end how I drew these flowers, so stay tuned for that. I'm coloring in the top bars where I'm going to write the days of the week. I debated a little bit whether to use a color, but I thought the black looked really cool, and I'm going to use a white pen to write on top of the black. So I thought this was just a cool aesthetic, and I'm really glad I went with the black. I think it's really sharp and bold, and I'm liking the high contrast as part of this month's theme. Now I'm using this sort of pinkish, peachish, salmon-ish color, and I'm drawing a little box in the top of each day, and that's where I'm going to write the number. I've been really into this style this year. I think I've done it every month, where I draw a little box or circle to write the day, the number on the dates for the calendar. I'm adding a little space at the bottom that says next month. I found this really helpful, just a bit of space for me to prepare for the things I need to know for the following month. And then I'm just putting a notes area on this side because it felt a little empty, and this is the calendar spread. I'd like to take a minute to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is the best place to learn a creative skill or pick up a new hobby. If you're looking to reconnect with your creativity and maybe avoid some brain rot, Skillshare is where humans come to learn from other humans. I've been feeling in a very spring mood lately, and with the warmer weather and longer days, I felt like watercolor painting would be so much fun. It's great that you can filter the classes by medium. There were so many classes to choose from, but actually the very first Tulips watercolor class caught my eye. I haven't spent much time on painting, and it's something that I've always wanted to learn how to do properly. The instructor went slowly and explained all the concepts very clearly. We started out by sketching the layout of the tulips in pencil first before going in with the watercolors. He showed us each tulip one by one, and he used a different color scheme for each tulip. I was really blown away by the unusual color combinations he chose. I would have never known to choose them, but they all went so well together and they just felt so perfect for spring. Finally, we tied the whole piece together with this really fun splatter technique. It was so much fun to put the screens away, get creative, learn something new, and just get a little bit messy. I'm really excited that the first 500 people to use the link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Moving on to the trackers page now, I'm going to put habits on the left and mood on the right, which is what I always do. This just works really well for me, so I'm going to keep doing it. I'm using that same font that I used on the calendar page. I think this is just such a fun font. Let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see a more in-depth tutorial on how to do this font. It's really a lot easier than it looks, and it's so versatile and just so fun and cute. I forgot to set up the habits ahead of time in pencil, so you can see me do that now, a little bit of behind the scenes. I just use a pencil and I kind of count out 7 days across and then 5 weeks for this month. And then once I do that, then I go and set it up in pen. That's what I kind of do for all of the spreads, like you see when I am drawing in this video, I already have some pencil in the background set up, and that's how I do it. I basically just kind of sketch in the sort of overall layout, and then I can fill in the details with my fine liner during the video. So I started coloring those top bars in the pink that you can see, but I didn't really like how that was looking, and I'm really glad I went with the black instead to kind of match the calendar with the black bar at the top. I think it looks more sharp and crisp, so I'm glad I went with that. And then I'll have to write the habits in white pen on top of that. For the mood tracker, I'm doing a different flower for every single day, so I had to draw 31 of these. This was pretty tedious. I won't bore you guys with the whole thing, but yeah, I did literally draw 31 of these. I alternated between the peonies and the other style of flower that you're going to see on the other spreads. Yeah, this took me quite some time, but I think it's going to look so beautiful with all of the different colors in this color scheme by the end of the month once it's all filled in. So I think it's going to be worth it. If you haven't seen a mood tracker before, this is basically just a spread where you color in each day according to how you were feeling that day. So I'm adding 4 boxes on the bottom. I'm going to assign 4 different moods to these when I'm ready to start setting up my journal. And each day I'll just color in the flower based on how I'm feeling that day. For the next spread, I decided to do something kind of unusual for me. I have the word written vertically, so I just had to turn my journal over here. May starts on a Friday, so I have only like half a spread for the first week, so I had an extra page and I decided to do a gratitude tracker. This is one of my all-time favorite spreads. It's so much fun to be using, and it's so rewarding to be using a spread like this every day during a month. So I'm always really glad when the month starts later in the week because it means I'm going to have this extra page available to me in my journal at the start of the month, which means I can set up a gratitude tracker. For this one, I'm doing the sort of reverse coloring of this lettering using all the negative space, which is the white space, to create the letters. So I colored in black around that. I used the paint pen to start, and then I'm using a fine liner to touch it up, like to do the finer details, but I think this was kind of a mistake. I ended up coloring more than I wanted, and the letters were a little bit smaller than I wanted. So yeah, I wish I had just used the fine liner first to block out the space around the letters, and then use the paint pen in the back. I think that would have been a better result. But I still think this spread is looking really nice, and I've just written all the numbers 1 to 31, so every day I'll go in and write down something I'm grateful for that day. Now I'm doing the first weekly spread. The first week of May only has 2 days, Friday and Saturday, so I'm doing this kind of layout. And now I'm going to draw in a few flowers around the border. So there's that second style of flower we haven't seen yet. I don't know what to call that. Let me know in the comments if you know what kind of flower that is. I don't, but it kind of reminds me of like a lily pad flower. The one on the top that I'm doing now I think is like a peony, and I think it's so beautiful with the leaves kind of folded up, and I'm adding some sort of hatching and shading just to make it look a little bit more realistic and sort of have some more dimension. I actually think this style of just the line sketching is so beautiful. I love how it turned out with the color, but I almost was like, should I leave it just black and white with the line drawing? But yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Should I have left it just as a white and black line drawing, or do you prefer how it looked in the end with the color? I'm going to color in the flowers now, and I'm going to show you guys this again in more detail on the cover page shortly, so stay tuned. But yeah, once again, I'm just picking a base color to color in the entire thing, and then I'm choosing a slightly darker color to go in and color like the sort of edges of the petal, any sort of corners where you think there could be shadows. So just try to imagine where the light's coming from, and then imagine which parts of the flower might not see as much light. For the second one on the bottom, now I'm using that pink salmon color as the base color, so I'm coloring in the entire flower with this pen over here. And then for the shading, instead of using a second color, I'm just using this color again to layer up. This marker is pretty good for that, so it works. If you don't have a marker that kind of layers well, you can just grab a darker color, maybe like a red or a darker pink, and that would work really well. Now I'm using an orange, which I think complements the salmon really well, and now I'm adding a bit more shading. Again, try to pick the places where you think the light might not reach and just color those in, and it's going to look really sort of sophisticated and three-dimensional. I'm so pleased with how this spread is looking. Again, I really loved how it looked before I added color as well, but I think it is so beautiful with the color, and the way I added the dimension and like the shading, I think looks really good. So yeah, let me know in the comments if I should have left it black and white or if you like how it looks with color. Let's go back to the cover page now, and this brings me to my second pro tip, which is leave the cover page for last. This might seem like an unusual strategy, but I do this every month. If you follow my videos for a while, you know I always talk about this. This is such a great tip because it doesn't cost you any extra time, and it gives you a chance to practice all of your doodles and all of the techniques on the other spreads that are probably less important to you than the cover. So by the time you come back to the cover, you're kind of an expert at drawing all of these flowers and doing these fonts, and you know what works and what doesn't. And that will make your cover page the best it possibly can be. So yeah, I always save the cover page for last. Okay, now let me show you in a bit more detail how I'm drawing these flowers. So I always start from the inside out. I start with a few petals on the inside. I do one layer of just regular petals, and now the petals that surround that inner layer, I'm always adding like a little line on the side, and that's how you create the illusion of like the leaf sort of folding up and inward. So I just work my way around that. The ones in the back don't have that extra line, but the ones on the side and in the front all have that like little extra line folding inwards. For the other style of flower, it's the same strategy, but the leaves are just a bit more pointy. I have that inner cluster, and then I just work my way outwards, and I add an extra line to all the leaves that are on the sides and in the front to make it look like they're folding, and it just makes it look a little bit more realistic and 3D. So yeah, basically start in the center, work your way outwards. By the time I got to the cover page, I was kind of an expert, so I had done a lot of these at this point. Now I'm adding some shading. It's a little hard to see. Sorry, I always hold my pen so vertically, but I'm just adding a few thin lines, sort of starting at the bottom of each petal, working your way outwards. I think this helps add like some shading and dimension. Just start from where you think the light doesn't really reach, like in the kind of inside or the corner of the petal, and then draw outwards. I'm doing the same thing on the other style of flower. I start at the bottom or the inside of the petal and draw lines facing outwards on all the petals. Now let me show you in a bit more detail how I colored it. So you've already seen me add the colors on the other page, but basically I start by coloring in the entire flower with one color, so as like a base, and that will be the lightest color. Then I'm picking a second shade, which is like a darker yellow in this case, coloring all of those flipped over edges of the leaves as well as the insides where you drew the hatching. And then I'm grabbing this third color, a kind of orange yellow, adding more lines on the outside of the leaves and coloring more with the darker color on sort of the inside. So I'm doing the same thing but in pink for this one. So I pick this salmon pink as my base color, color the whole thing in that, and then add another layer where you think the light doesn't reach, as well as on all of those edges of the leaves that are kind of flipped up. And then I'm using the final shade, the darker orange here, to color in the background, sort of like behind the leaves in the front where the light might not get to, and kind of in the corners where you drew the hatching. And I'm also creating an orange flower over here. I haven't done this one yet, but I'm using the darkest yellow as the base, like as the lightest color in this case. And then I'm using the orange as the darker shade. So I'm just mixing it up. I didn't want two of the same color flowers next to each other to try to make it look kind of like random and like an assortment of different flowers. I had been wanting to do a floral theme for quite a while now. A lot of you guys recommended that I do a floral theme for March, but to me March is like a little too early, especially because you're setting up March in February still, so I just wasn't quite ready to do flowers. But now that it's April when I'm setting up this May theme, the weather's warmer, it feels like spring is here, so I really felt like I really wanted to do a floral theme, and I think this theme just turned out so beautiful. I'm really happy with how the flowers are looking. Now to tie it all together, this was one of the main ideas I had that inspired this whole theme. I wanted to do this black square background, but you notice how the black background doesn't go right to the edge of the flower, so some of the flowers stick out of the black. And learning from my mistake on the gratitude thread, which is why we need to save the cover page for last, I'm using the black marker to go around the edges first. So I just colored in the big areas with the paint marker, and then I'm using the fine liner to color in the edges and do the detailing. Now that you can start to see the final look of the theme, I want to tell you guys my third pro tip for today's video, which is limit your color palette. I even went a little overboard. In this one I used many different colors, but I stuck to the yellow, orange, and salmon color palette. The more you expand your color palette and use lots of colors, it's going to look more chaotic, which if that's the vibe you want and you love colors, then absolutely go for it. But if you want this polished, kind of professional looking aesthetic, trust me on this, less colors is more. And here is the final flip through of my May bullet journal setup. I am so thrilled with how it turned out. I absolutely love the florals against the black. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll speak to you guys next month. Bye, friends!